would give them some answers. There was even the hashtag on Twitter, "Give us the tapes." But it appears that this video is only providing more questions and very few answers. We've got a couple of clips from these hours of video we've watched. Let's look at the first one, and it shows Kendrick walking in from the right side of your screen there. He's behind another student, and as soon as he runs out, you see that student disappears, and a couple of other students appear rather. It's from one image to the next with no explanation of how those students got to that position or where the student at that red shirt went. Now, we blurred their faces because they're minors in this video and the next. Let's go to the next one. You can see Kendrick at the bottom right of the screen. He's walking at first, and then he runs out of the frame, and just like the first video, other students just appear. No explanation of how they got to that point. You don't see them walk in. We've not edited these videos to just kind of put one image next to the other. This is how we receive them from the sheriff's office today.
So the video seems to be jumping around. You're saying those aren't edits? Is that, I mean, I assume it's a motion sensor camera. Is that the way it's supposed to work, that it may take a few seconds for an image to register?
That was our first question. When we see the images, especially of Kendrick with all these hours of video, it's like, well, what happened at the end of this and how did these students appear? Was this video edited? So we reached out to both the school that owns the cameras that recorded it and then the sheriff's office, which had a copy of it, which supplied it to us. I want to read you the statements. First, from the school district, an attorney for Lowndes County Schools says simply, what we produced to the sheriff is a raw feed with no edits. And then from the attorney for the sheriff's office, my client has confirmed that the video was not altered or edited by anyone within the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. They both maintain that what we see is exactly what was recorded.
What about the corner where the gym mats are, or where Kendrick's body was ultimately found? I mean, that seems to be the key place. We've known there was a camera there. You saw the video from that camera today. What did you see?
Yeah, this is the most important camera of all 36, and I want to show you the video. It's blurry. Of all 36 cameras of video that was provided, this angle is blurry. It's almost impossible to make out any of the faces. And if you look at the corner, it's the top left of the image. Those are the mats in which Kendrick Johnson was found. What you don't see is the top of the mats. And we know why that's important because sheriff's deputies say that he climbed in through the top of the mat. They say that the students who found him were playing on top of those mats. And in this video, because you can't see that image, you can't see that. Also, you know, we saw from one image to the next in the other videos, from looking at this, we see students playing basketball, and then a few frames later, we see what appears to possibly be the nurse running in. Then we see someone running through with a gurney. So there is, we know from the file, of the investigative file, there are activities and there are events between these, but we just don't see them through what is the only blurry image, the blurry angle of all 36 cameras that were provided by the school district and the sheriff's office.
So I'm a little confused. I mean, we saw Kendrick running, and from one angle, the camera on the mat, does that show him approaching the mats at any time? And is there anybody else that shows up?
There is activity in the hours of video there, but it's so blurry and so much is happening in that corner. There are bleachers there, and students, we know from the file, would sit in that area. The police say that they would play in that area, but because we can't see the top of the mats from the image, we can't tell if anyone ever went on top and when they went on top, and we don't see Kendrick running in that direction. And if we were to see someone going in that direction, the video, the image is so blurry. We have not edited this at all, the clarity of it, to tell if Kendrick is running in the direction of the mats.
We hear it over and over from investors. I wish I had bought Amazon or Netflix when they were first recommended by the Motley Fool. I'd be sitting on a gold mine. And it's true. If you had invested in Amazon when we send a buy alert at $15.31 per share, you'd be up 12,000%. Or if you had invested in Netflix when we recommended it at $1.85 per share, you'd be up 18,000%. And while Amazon and Netflix have had a good run, we think these 5 other stocks are screaming buys. And you can buy them now for less than $49 a share. You can grab a copy of 5 growth stocks under $49 for free for a limited time only. Now don't look back 5 years from now regretting that you failed to act. Simply click to enter your email, and we'll send you your 5 free stock picks directly to your inbox.
Nerds!
Hey, Dad, can I ask you a question?
Sure, sweetie, what?
Should I consolidate my debt onto a single credit card to pay it down faster, or is that even something I can do with my credit score?
Here's some advice my father gave me. The wealthiest camel has the biggest hump.
Okay.
Not everyone has the credit card answers you're looking for. The experts at NerdWallet compare hundreds of credit cards so you can shop the right card for you. From low rates to no annual fees, for all your credit card questions, turn to the nerds.
More now of our exclusive investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson. Specifically, what school surveillance video can tell us about how he died and what's missing from it? Again, here's Victor Blackwell.
CNN has hired Grant Fredericks and his team at Forensic Video Solutions to analyze the hundreds of hours of surveillance from Lowndes High School. Although he does not believe the jumpy video is the result of editing, he says there are some other major problems.
Those files are not original files. They're not something that an investigator should rely on for the truth of the video. They've been altered in a number of ways, primarily in image quality, and likely in dropped information loss. There are also a number of files that are corrupted because they've not been processed correctly and they're not playable. So I can't say why they were done that way, but they were not done correctly and they were not done thoroughly. So we're missing information.
Fredericks says that's likely due to how investigators acquired the surveillance video.
Right now, what they've done is they have left it up to the school district to define what it is they want to provide the police. And I think that probably is a mistake.
According to Lowndes County Sheriff's Office incident reports, a detective watched a portion of the surveillance video the day Kendrick Johnson was found. Then he asked the school board's information technology worker for a copy of the surveillance video for the entire wing of the school with the old gym for the last 48 hours. 5 days later, that IT worker provided a hard drive, and according to the incident report, the detective verified it contained the requested surveillance video.
So the investigator's responsibility is to acquire the entire digital video recording system and then have their staff define what they want to obtain. You don't want somebody who might be party to the responsibility to make the decision as to what they provide the police.
And after hours of analysis, Fredericks questions whether Lowndes County Schools provided all of the surveillance video from the old gym to investigators.
There is a whole of time where none of the cameras provide any record that I've been provided.
Fredericks has all the camera angles and all the video released by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
There are 4 cameras in the gym that records motion from when the lights turn on in the morning until when the lights are turned off at night, except for the area of interest.
The moments before Kendrick Johnson enters the gym. Look at what happens to the recordings from these 4 cameras in the gym. The time is recorded with the video. The first camera captures images from the start of the day until 12:04 p.m. Then, nothing. It picks up again at 1:09 p.m. There's consistent surveillance from the second camera until 11:05 a.m., then it stops and picks up again more than 2 hours later at 1:15 p.m. The third camera also drops at 11:05 a.m., it picks up again at 1:16 p.m. And from the final camera, there's surveillance until 12:04 p.m., no recording for more than an hour, then it picks up again at 1:09 p.m.
I would absolutely expect there to be some record of that activity, and we don't have any here.
Here's why Fredericks would have expected the motion-activated system to record during that time. During that hour and 5 minutes, several students are seen walking into and out of the old gym from the surveillance camera just outside the gym door. We count 7 male students, and 3 of them walk into the gym within 3 minutes prior to Kendrick Johnson walking in.
I can't tell you whether there was no information recorded in the digital video system, or whether somebody made an error and didn't capture it, or whether somebody just didn't provide it.
When surveillance in the gym resumes at 1:09, we see just these few frames of Kendrick Johnson running in the gym. Here's that moment from all of the cameras in the gym, although there's a record from only 2, and the camera just outside the door. Notice, the hall camera timestamp appears to be 10 minutes behind, and there's no confirmation either time matches the exact time of day. It is the last time his image is captured on video. For the next hour, there are multiple gaps in the video surveillance in the gym. And that is crucial. It's a really important time.
Well, it really is the only option to answer the question, really what happened.
And there's no video showing the initial discovery of a body in the gym. The next time we see Kendrick Johnson is the following day when he's being wheeled out of the gym in a body bag. Do you believe it's a coincidence that that time period in the gym is missing?
Oh, boy. Investigators are always suspicious and should be suspicious. And it's suspicious that that time period is not there. So, yes, I would be suspicious. And until I have the digital video system in my hand, until I can say, or an investigator can say, everything is intact, this was what's recorded, I would still be highly suspicious of this.
So after fighting for months on a city street corner and in the county courthouse to get the surveillance video, Kendrick Johnson's parents still do not know who was in the gym before Kendrick ran in, nor who, if anyone, was there or what happened in those moments after.
Victor Blackwell joins us now. So what's the school district and the sheriff's department saying?
Well, Anderson, we sent a long list of questions to both an attorney for the sheriff's office and an attorney for the Lowndes County School District. Well, we have not received an answer to our questions from the attorney for the sheriff's office, but we have received a response from the attorney for the school district. No comment. Although that attorney has said that he will make the original hard drive available to the court. And of course, the Johnsons want to make sure that all the information from the school's hard drive was then given to the sheriff's office, which they hope eventually was all passed on to them. And of course, we'll find that out. Wow. Anderson?
What do you want? Justice for KJ! When you want it? Now!
After months of rallies, marches, and sit-ins, and the announcement of a federal investigation into the death of Kendrick Johnson,
I will follow the facts wherever they lead.
CNN has learned FBI agents are now conducting interviews in South Georgia. Kendrick's parents, Kenneth and Jacqueline Johnson, recently sat with investigators for nearly 3 hours. The Johnsons want to know what happened to their son. It's a question Jacqueline Johnson first asked 1 year ago.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, I'm calling. My son didn't come home from school today, and he still haven't got here.
Okay, what's your son's name?
Kendrick Johnson.
That was January 10th, 2013. That afternoon, the 17-year-old ran into the old gym at Lowndes High School. The following day, Kendrick Johnson was found dead, upside down in a rolled gym mat. The Johnsons never believed he died accidentally after getting stuck while reaching for this shoe, as Lowndes County investigators determined.
They know something happened in that gym, and they don't want it to come out.
The Johnsons exhumed Kendrick's body and hired an independent pathologist who determined Kendrick died from blunt force trauma to the neck, not an accident. Lowndes County Lieutenant Stride Jones spoke with CNN in May, the day after the sheriff's office closed its case.
It was not a rash decision that was leapt to by any means. I mean, we've drawn this out, done a thorough investigation, and we think we've covered all bases. As the FBI conducts its interviews, CNN is taking an in-depth look at the accounts of the first interviews in the Kendrick Johnson case, conducted by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office. And we've interviewed slightly over 100 and something people during this investigation. That included students, teachers, some parents that had access during the time period of question there. We examined every incident report included in the 522-page investigative file. According to the file, Lowndes County investigators interviewed 111 people, including 7 school employees, 3 medical responders, and more than 90 students. It started on January 11th when Kendrick Johnson was found at Lowndes High School. The file reveals sheriff's investigators interviewed 18 people the day Kendrick Johnson was found. We took that information to HLN analyst, a former police officer, and member of the FBI response team, Mike Brooks.
I want to interview someone that day, that night, or maybe the following day while things are still fresh in your mind.
However, the documents reveal most interviews occurred months later. Here's the breakdown. Investigators interviewed 33 people in the month of January, just 4 in February, 1 in March, and 72 of the 111 interviews were conducted in April, 1 more in May.
But months later, you start to leave out possibly some crucial pieces of information, because it's in your mind. Sometimes you can recall things that you might not have recalled that particular day, but to a couple days, maybe even a week after it happened, I say week on the outside, but not months, Victor, not months.
Remember, Kendrick's body was found January 11th. The first emergency medical technicians called to the scene initially for a reported cardiac arrest were interviewed April 17th. The paramedic who noticed bruising to Kendrick's jaw and considered the gym to be a crime scene was interviewed April 18th. The janitors who cleaned the gym where the body was found yards from these blood streaks on a wall were among the last to be interviewed on April 26th. Local investigators believe the blood is unrelated. However, they've never found whose blood it was or how it got there. And according to their report, the investigators did not ask the janitors about that blood. And look again at the school surveillance video. This was the last time Kendrick Johnson was seen alive. There were other students in the gym, but the investigators' reports have no record of interviews with any of these students.
I looked at the crime scene investigation, evidence collection, the autopsy, the interviews that were done and were not done in a timely fashion. This is a sloppy case from the get-go.
After the U.S. attorney announced the federal investigation, the attorney for the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office wrote to CNN in part, "While Sheriff Prine has every confidence that his officer's investigation was handled with the necessary diligence to assure that all leads were examined and exhausted, he welcomes the U.S. attorney's further review of the case."
What do you want? Justice!
The Johnsons and their supporters now hope the FBI will get an answer to their question. What happened to Kendrick Johnson?
That's my child, and we're going to fight till it's all over, until we get the truth. That's all we've ever asked for, was the truth about what happened to Kendrick Johnson.